cover some material out of Unit 3.4 using algebra. We are going to look at the content from box F, multiplying and dividing a polynomial by a monomial. And this section is going to use many of the skills that we learned in box E, where we were multiplying and dividing monomials by each other. So, how do we multiply and divide polynomials by monomials? Well, if you remember back in a previous lesson, we looked at what was called the distributive property. If we see something like this first example here, where we have 2x out in front of the brackets, we know that this means that we want to take this 2x and multiply it by each of these things that is inside the brackets. Just like this. Okay? And so our polynomial inside the brackets, x squared minus 2x plus 5, just consists of a series of monomials. So we are going to take each of these monomials, x squared, negative 2x, and 5, multiply them by that 2x, and add up what we get. So let's just write out what we're going to have. First step is going to be, we're going to have our 2x, which is out in front. We're going to multiply it by our first monomial in the brackets, x squared, our first term in the brackets. We're going to add. Our next step, we're going to take our 2x again, multiply it by the next term in the brackets, negative 2x. And we're going to keep that sign that is in front of the 2x with the 2x. So negative 2x. And then we're going to take that 2x and we're going to multiply it by positive 5. And then we just follow the rules for multiplying monomials that we did in the last lesson. 2x times x squared, well, 2 times 1 gives us 2 for our coefficient. X to the power of 1 times x squared gives us x cubed. Next two monomials here, we have 2x times negative 2x. So 2 times negative 2 gives us a negative 4. X times x, we just add the exponents, x squared. And because the answer here, when I multiplied those two, was negative, I put a negative sign between my 2x cubed and my 4x squared. And then we go on to the last pair of monomials here. 2x times 5, we're going to multiply our coefficients. 2 times 5 gives us 10. This is going to be positive. And then we have x times, well, we don't have anything there, so this is just going to be x. So our final answer, 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 10x. Okay. Now, let's try our second example. I'll have to move this down here to give myself a little bit more room. And I have this other example here that I'm not going to do anymore. So here we've got 5ab times 6a squared minus 3ab plus b. And we're going to want to do the exact same thing here. We're going to take that negative 5 AB that is out in front, and we're going to multiply it by 6a squared. To this we are going to add, again, our negative 5ab times, what's our next term? Negative 3ab. Plus, take our negative 5ab again, and we're multiplying it by our last term, which is positive b. So we're just applying the distributive property here, and now we multiply these like we would any two other monomials. Negative 5 times 6 gives me negative 30. A to the 1 times a squared is going to give me a cubed. I don't have anything that matches up with this b, so it's just a b. Negative 5 times negative 3 gives me positive 15. A times a squared. B times b, b squared. Just adding those exponents up. Finally, negative 5 times 1 gives me negative 5. I don't have anything that matches up with that a, so it stays as an a. B times b gives me b squared. So my final answer, negative 30a cubed b plus 15a squared b squared minus 5ab squared. Okay. Now we can follow a similar sort of process if we want to do division. We can take, so flip over that page. If we want to do division, we can take our division and break it up into step by step. So divide each term individually and add up the results. So our first example, we've got negative 4x squared plus 6x, and we're dividing it by 2x. Let's break this into two divisions. My first term in my polynomial, or in my numerator here, is negative 4x squared. So I want to divide that term by 2x. To this I'm going to add my second term, 6x, again, divided by 2x. And then I can do this division just like I did in the previous lesson. So divide my coefficients. Negative 4 divided by 2 is going to give me negative 2. My bases line up, so I'm just going to have an x still. And then 2, I'm going to subtract my exponents. 2 minus 1 gives me just 1. For my second term, I'm going to have 6 divided by 2, which gives me 3. And then x divided by x, well, let's see, this is x to the 1 divided by x to the 1. I subtract the exponents. 1 minus 1 gives me 0. Okay, so we don't even bother with that part. Okay, but the only part here that goes away is just the x to the 0. So our final answer is negative 2x plus 3. Okay, we still have the 3 there. It's just the x part that's gone. Okay, all right. Let's try a second example here. Do the same thing. Let's slide this over a little bit. Okay. And maybe I'll move this example way down here. Okay. So, second example here, giving ourselves a little bit more space. 27a to the 5, b6, minus 36a to the 7th, b squared, plus 81a squared b divided by 9ab. I'm going to break this up into 3 separate divisions. My first one is going to be 27a to the 5, b6, divided by 9ab, plus, okay, and remember these signs stay with the term that they're in front of. So I'm going to write this as a plus, and then I'm going to keep that negative sign up here with the 36. So negative 36, a to the 7, b squared, divided by 9ab. Again, plus, and then I've got 81a squared, b, divided by 9ab. And then I do my division. Divide the coefficients, check to see if the bases line up, and then subtract the exponents. So 27 divided by 9 gives me 3. A to the 5 divided by a to the 1, subtract the exponents, gives me 5 minus 1 is 4. For my b's, I have 6 minus 1, which gives me b to the 5. My next division, I've got negative 36 divided by 9, which gives me negative 4. A to the 7 divided by a to the 1 gives me a to the 6, just subtracting those exponents. And then 2 minus 1 gives me b to the power of 1, or just b. My last division here, 81 divided by 9 gives me 9 for my coefficient. A to the squared divided by a to the 1 gives me a. And then b divided by b would give me, well, b to the power of 1 minus b to the power of 1. So 1 minus 1 would give me 0. So we don't even put that b part on there. Okay. And so we are done. All right. Let's try this third example here if we've got space. I'll try to leave that second one on there. So in this third example, we've got 24x cubed y to the 4th minus 3x squared y squared divided by 6xy squared. We've got this division sign in here, but I'm just going to rewrite this as a fraction. So I'm going to put this first polynomial up in my numerator. 24x cubed y to the fourth. My next term is negative 3x squared y squared. And then I'm going to divide each of these terms by my negative 6xy squared. So I'm taking each of the terms out of the polynomial, dividing them by that monomial there. Okay. And now I'm going to do my division. Oh, I need to have my equal signs there and there. So my division here, let's see, divide my coefficients. 24 divided by negative 6 gives me negative 4. X and x, let's see, 3 minus 1 is going to give me x squared. Y to the fourth, y squared, 4 minus 2 gives me y squared. Negative 3 divided by negative 6, that's going to be a fraction, 3 over 6. I just want to put that fraction in lowest terms. So in lowest terms, that's going to be 1/2. Okay, and I have a negative on top and a negative on the bottom, so those are going to cancel and give me a positive there. And then x squared divided by x, let's see, 2 minus 1 just gives me x. And then y squared over y squared, let's see, 2 minus 2 would give me 0. So I'm not going to have a y at all. So my final answer, negative 4x squared y squared plus 1/2 x.